everyone. I'm SCU's Vice President for Student Development, Dr. Bethany Thomas, and you're watching SCU Now, our weekly update show where we keep you informed and educated on everything happening right now at SCU. And today I'll be talking to one of our amazing students and one of my favorite, Miriam Krause. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Bethany?
Great. When I saw your name was going to be on the show today, I was so excited because I love you and I love catching up with you. Miriam, fun fact, was a part of one of our Center for Women in Leadership cohorts, so that's how I got to know her so well. You recently had the opportunity to attend a conference hosted by the Alliance to End Human Trafficking in Chicago.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It was incredible.
Aw. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're with me, and we're going to hear all about this in just a minute. And make sure at the end of the show, if you're listening, be sure to stick around, and I'm going to be listing off the top 3 events that you need to know about this week at SCU. So I'm going to hook you in right now because you want to stick around and hear the top 3. But let's get started, Miriam. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know it, but for the listeners, tell us, what year are you at SCU? What's your major?
Of course. I'm Miriam Krause.
Yes.
I am a social work student. I'm in my senior year, so graduate in the spring, so it's the final stretch.
So April.
Yes, so I'm definitely excited about that.
Yes, and fun fact, you get married in December.
In December. I'm so excited. Yes, marriage.
Yay, that's so fun.
So fun.
I love that. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Now, can you provide, I know we mentioned it's a conference in Chicago. Can you provide a little bit of background on the conference? What was it about?
Yeah, of course. So they actually had a recent name change to the Alliance to End Human Trafficking, but originally it was Catholic Sisters Against Human Trafficking.
Okay.
And the conference was just a ton of Catholic sisters who are all involved in some capacity in the fight against human trafficking. They all came together to listen to different speakers, break out in little sessions. It was really, really wonderful just hearing from so many different people. But there's just so many different aspects of like the fight against human trafficking, so everyone came in with different background and different knowledge, and so it was really cool. So definitely just a lot of Catholic sisters.
Yeah, that's amazing. How did you originally hear about the conference, and how did you know you want to be a part of this one? Because I'm sure there's lots of conferences, but how did you know specifically about this one?
Of course. So this is probably like a month or so ago. I checked my email and I was forwarded an email from I'm like interning right now at an organization called Paving the Way, and the founder, her name is Jan. She's like who I kind of work with. She had forwarded us an email from her friend who like works with Catholic Sisters Against Human Trafficking, and it was basically an email saying, we have this conference coming up. We are wanting to kind of sponsor some students, some interns. So if you have any interns who are interested in it, let us know. I saw that email, and I'm like responding back as quickly as I can. I was like, I'm interested in this. Like, let me text my boss. Texted my boss. I was like, please don't put me on the schedule. Like, I want to, because it was super short notice. It was like the week or two before.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, please don't put me on the schedule. Like, I need to be out of town Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And he's texted back. And as soon as he texted me back and was like, you're good, I messaged the lady and ended up finding out the next day that I had one of the people chosen. So I was so excited. Yes.
So for the listeners that don't know, you were one of 3 students who were awarded an all-expense-paid trip to Chicago to attend the conference. Was the selection process hard, or what qualified you to be one of the few chosen?
Truthfully, the lady who I work with for my internship, she knows Christine, who is the lady who is with
she's like, you want to pick
so
Miriam.
I think there was a little bit of chit-chat, hopefully, because or maybe I just responded back super quickly. So,
and because you're super qualified.
I'm so cool.
And you're a great student.
I'm super passionate about it. So I think they really wanted students there who weren't just there for a free trip, but were there to really gain a lot of insight and information.
So airfare,
everything. Hotel, food. I think I spent $1 out of pocket on the whole trip. So it was really
so it's like a really cool
blessing.
Experience and a little, not vacay, but a chance to explore Chicago.
Yeah, it was my first trip like traveling alone out of the state. So that was really felt very like big girl. So
that is very big girl.
I loved it.
You're like, I'm flying by myself. I'm finding a way to the hotel by myself. Did you Uber?
It was my first Lyft ride ever.
See?
I was so nervous, texting my friends like, I'm okay. I'm in a Lyft right now.
I'm proud of you.
It was fun.
So you had to download the app.
Yes.
Okay. I remember my first like big girl trip like that, where I was like, I'm getting in a car with a stranger. I hope this is normal. It's everything against everything I've ever learned.
I know. I was like, it should be fine. And I made it.
You're fine. You're great. People have your location. They can find you.
100%.
That's awesome. awesome. So how was your experience at the conference? I know you're excited to get there. Can you share about some of the workshops that were offered and what speakers you had a chance to hear from?
Of course, yeah. I brought my little booklet because I couldn't remember all of their names.
Yeah.
But basically,
Some of the standout ones.
Yeah, so there was, because I said I'm a social work student, so there was one that was, I don't want to butcher exactly what it was called.
That's
but,
okay. We got time. You can look it up.
Perfect. It was best practices in trauma-informed care, like pertaining to like human trafficking survivors. That was by Christy Muncie, and it was incredible. It was very informative, very educational, and I loved the conference. I'm most passionate about like the fight against like sex trafficking specifically, mostly because I am misinformed on like labor trafficking, but the conference provided a ton of information on labor trafficking. So I left it feeling so much more informed about it, knowing that it's actually way more prevalent than sex trafficking. So that was just very interesting. I just love taking in information where I'm like, now I can share it with people. But it's just what I'm so passionate about, anti-trafficking. So it was just very wonderful being one of the youngest people in a room full of people who have been doing this forever. And it was just really great, like, even, like, networking and getting emails and just learning different resources was just huge. A wonderful experience, especially for a student. So I loved it. It was so great.
That's amazing. How did you, or when did you first become passionate about the fight against human trafficking?
Yeah, I think I was probably, like, 15. I'm from Minnesota, so I was at, like, a summer camp for church. And they had a video play during one of, I think they're like sponsoring survivors of human trafficking, and it was like a video that was kind of similar to the vibe of like the Taken movie, which if you guys are familiar with that, which honestly it's not a great depiction of like the accuracy of what human trafficking truly like kind of like looks like, but when you're 15 and that's the first time you're hearing about trafficking, you're like, this is crazy, like what do you mean people are like being taken against their will, and what do you mean people are, and my heart just broke, and I think that was the first little seed that was planted of like, this is an injustice and something needs to be done, and that just never went away, and I've just always taken that as like a very clear sign from the Lord that this is something that I was put on this earth to be a part of ending in any capacity that I'm able to. So when I decided to join the social work program here, it was primarily because I was interested in like anti-trafficking. So it was just a really cool like getting to where I am now from, however many years ago that was, but it's just so important.
That's incredible. So a little bit ago, you mentioned your internship with Paving the Way Foundation. And something that's so cool about Southeastern, if you're in the degrees here, we always help place people into different internship opportunities or introduce them to people that leads to other things. Tell us about that organization and what it does and how you get to take part of it.
Yeah, of course. It's a wonderful organization. Basically, they just believe that education has power, and it just totally is what is necessary and needed for kind of preventing human trafficking. It's prevention through education. What we do is we go to middle and high schools and we talk to the students about trafficking and grooming tactics and recruitment strategies.
Like things to be on the lookout for.
Pretty much, yeah. So all these students, it's not like it was 20 years ago. Everyone has cell phones at such a young age. So we're talking to these children like, oh, how many of you guys have been messaged by someone you don't know? All the hands go up. How many of you guys have used Omegle or all these different apps? All the hands go up. And
I'm
terrible. A terrible thing.
I'm terribly old.
But it's just, it's really great because you can kind of see like the light bulb go off in their heads when we're talking. And it's just so important that you can have the conversation with them, and then now they know, oh, I have a friend who is talking to this person they don't know. Now I can inform them, hey, maybe that's not safe. Or even a student who maybe they're actually being groomed by a trafficker. Like my Jan has told me that they've had disclosures of like, oh, you saved my life. Like I had no idea that I was being groomed. And it's, some people think, oh, like it's too touchy to talk to about students with like these young students, but 10 to 13 is the average age that a trafficker is going to recruit a child for trafficking. So it's not too early. It's really never too early. Conversations should definitely be starting in the home, but I think that we're going to the schools, that is the best place to kind of start it. So I love it. It's really, really, really great.
That's awesome. Now, what do you plan to do after graduation? Do you plan to like further pursue a career in that?
So like I said, I'm definitely most passionate about the preventative aspect of it, like what Jan does at Paving the Way. I would love to be Jan in like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Like what she does is like before I ever heard of her organization, I would describe what I want to do as I'd be like, I would love to create curriculum for students on trafficking. I'd love every single school to have curriculum and that teachers would be trained. And so basically like what she does. So it's just really cool that I have the opportunity to see like kind of firsthand like what my dream is eventually of like having my own nonprofit organization. And I don't know, just starting with prevention. Just the thing about trafficking is that there's always going to be a demand because we live in a fallen world and people are perverted at the bottom line. But if you can educate a child, you can educate a family, that's one less vulnerability that they're going to have, and they're protected against a trafficker. Yeah,
even curriculum for parents.
Of course, yeah.
To train parents on or have parent workshops. Or I was even thinking about some of maybe the homeschool population that may not be in schools to have type, like, I don't know. I just feel like every student needs to hear it, or every
Paving
child.
the Way, on their website, they actually do offer like parent toolkits.
That's awesome.
So it's like, here, download this. This is how the conversation starts. Because some parents don't even know where to start.
Right.
So it's really, really, really helpful. And especially if a child can approach their parent with something, it's just so much better than them being stuck and in a situation where they feel like they have no safe or trusted adult to speak to.
Yeah. Is the website pavingtheway.com?
Pavingtheway.org, I believe.
Okay.
Or .com. I always mix them up.
Either way, Google it.
Paving the Way Foundation. .org. I want to say
it's fine. People that are listening can just put it in the search engine and it'll come up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Check it out for great resources. Yeah. We'll wrap up with this last question. If there's anyone listening out there who wants to get involved and support the fight against human trafficking in their own community, what steps would you encourage them to take?
The biggest is just being educated. I feel like that there's so much misinformation and miseducation that is spread on human trafficking. People think that it's being taken in a Target parking lot, and I don't know, being taken is I think it's less than 2% of trafficking. A lot of it is a grooming process, and it's someone who's been dating a guy for 2 years, and they flip a switch, and now they're being sold, and it's a different process than most people imagine. So it truly just starts with actually knowing what the facts are. Like, talk to me. Like, this is what I'm super passionate about. If you have any questions, like, I just love it. There's so many different resources available. If you just look up, like, how does trafficking typically happen? It's very, very vastly different than what most people think. Like, most people are saying to their children, like, watch out for strangers, but most traffickers are going to be family, or they're going to be someone that they know, or a boyfriend. Yeah. So it's just starting with education is crucial. That just changes the entire game, I would say.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all about that. And thanks for all of you that are still listening. As promised, I know they're all waiting for our top 3 things that we need to know what's going on at SCU this week. Our firemen's soccer team will be playing Kaiser tonight on the home field at 7 p.m. Be sure to head out to see this matchup and show your support for the Fire. Also, I know the women's volleyball has a match. Is it a match? Volleyball game?
One of those.
You can tell I'm super athletic. Volleyball also has a game tonight at 7 as well. So maybe split your time between the two, but make sure you go and cheer on the Fire. The next is the fall long weekend kicks off tomorrow, October 19th. Can we just get a big woohoo?
Woohoo.
Right?
As a student, woohoo.
Yeah. I know we're excited. There will be no classes held tomorrow on Thursday or Friday, October 20th. I hope that everyone can take this time to decompress and relax, enjoy the fun fall weather. I know we don't really have like pumpkin patches, but we have beaches, which are
fall
awesome.
Beach
Yeah, it is the best. And we'll see you guys back on campus next Monday, where we will start our homecoming week, which is awesome. And then the final thing is next Wednesday, October 25th, the School of Music will present its Fall Wind Ensemble concert in Bush Chapel at 7 p.m. Everyone is invited to attend this free event and enjoy a night of beautiful music from our talented SCU students. Thank you for joining us today on SCU Now, Miriam. Again, you're one of my faves. I'm inspired by your story. I can't wait to see all the things that you're going to crush when you graduate. I just love you, and I think you're going to do amazing things for that world of human trafficking. And as usual, keep up with the latest SU news and updates online, and follow us on social media at SU University and at Bethany T. Thomas. Hope you all have an amazing week, and we look forward to connecting with you next week on SCU Now. Take care.